Today on Sporting Top 10, I'm glad to say that football is finally back, baby. And to kick off this year's videos on Sporting Top 10 for football, I will be going through my NFL predictions for 2018. Now, what this video will consist of is me going through every division, ranking the teams, and giving you their records. And then at the end of each conference, I will be giving you the playoff pictures that I predict come January. Let's get this started. First off, we have the AFC East. Now, I feel like the Patriots will continue their dominance in the AFC East. They claim another division title, but I don't think they will dominate like as they have done in the past years. Tom Brady is getting older, and although people think that Father Time might have its first loss with Tom Brady, his numbers will start to be on the decline. I feel like they should have kept Jimmy Garoppolo if they knew that he was going to be as good a quarterback as he was. But it is what it is. And I feel like they will try and be conserving themselves for the playoffs, kind of like what the Cavs did with LeBron. But I feel that they go 11-5. They have lost some people on the defensive side of the ball, like Malcolm Butler, and they've lost their number one receiver in Brandon Cooks. But now I have the middle of the division. So we got to remember that with Ryan Tannehill at the helm for the Dolphins made the playoffs 2 years ago. They slipped in as a 6th seed. They got bounced first round by the Steelers. But still, I think they've improved. They drafted Minkah Fitzpatrick. I'm a big fan of Minkah Fitzpatrick. He might have been the best overall football player in the draft. So I feel like they finished 7-9, and I feel like the Bills finished 7-9. Listen, the Bills have a great defense. And with my fantasy coming up soon, they will be a top 10 defense. The Bills have everything. Their secondary might be the best in the league, and they have a good middle linebacking core with Tremaine Edmonds now. He was their first-round draft pick, and their defensive line is solid, like always. But their quarterback situation is a mess, and we don't know what's going to go on with LeSean McCoy and that investigation. Hopefully it will work out for the Bills. But like I said, the quarterback carousel, I can't overlook it. It's A.J. McCarron, Nathan Peterman, and Josh Allen. They will be, I feel like, just switching on and off the entire year. Josh Allen gets starts on the back end. And the Jets, like always, they have a quarterback carousel as well, with Sam Darnold, Teddy Bridgewater, and Josh McCown. I feel like Teddy Bridgewater deserves a shot because he's led the Vikings to the playoffs before, but they're going to give Darnold a shot throughout this year, and maybe McCown gets some starts. So these two teams at the bottom, dysfunctional mess when it comes to the quarterback position, but they have talent elsewhere. But the Patriots reign supreme. Now moving on to the AFC North. I'm going to keep this simple. The Steelers with the 3 Bs and their offensive line. Ben, Bell, and Brown, and also on their line they have Pouncey, DeCastro, and Villanueva filling out that left side. And they have a young defense that is just full of energy. I feel like the Steelers will take the top spot in the whole AFC this year. Now, the Ravens, they will be solid this year, like always, because they have a quality defense, and Joe Flacco is pretty good. We'll see what happens with the Lamar Jackson situation. Maybe they feel like they don't need to necessarily make a playoff push because they're not in Super Bowl contention anyway, so they might give Lamar Jackson some starts towards the back end of the year. Cleveland is no longer the laughingstock of the AFC or even the NFL anymore. They will improve to 7-9. Listen, they got Tyrod Taylor at the helm and also Baker Mayfield, the number 1 draft pick. He is quality. He can play in this league. Now, they also have great wide receivers as they have Jarvis Landry and Josh Gordon. And possibly if they add Dez with the signing, they will be the best trio in football. This offense will make a resurgence. The defense is young, and we'll see how they develop. But now, the Bengals are the laughingstock at 3-13. I feel like they're a dysfunctional mess. They've been teeter-tottering on mediocrity for years. I feel like Andy Dalton takes a nosedive this year. And the defense, although quality, full of head cases like Vontaze Burfict, they will implode this year. Now on to my AFC South predictions. I have the Texans and the Colts both at 10-6. Now listen, DeAndre Hopkins, I feel, will make a jump with Deshaun Watson as his buddy on the offensive side as one of the top 3 or 4 receivers in this league. He has put up great numbers when his quarterback situation has just been terrible over the last few years, or ever since he came in the league, really, with the quarterback carousel going on in Houston. But now they finally have some consistency on the offensive side of the ball, and also you can't overlook the defense. They added the Honey Badger in the secondary, Tyrann Mathieu, and also they got J.J. Watt coming back off an injury, and Jadeveon Clowney. What more can you ask? They will win this division. Now, Luck and the Colts with T.Y. Hilton and their new offensive lineman, Quinn Nelson, they've revamped the line. I feel like that Andrew Luck will lead this team to a 10-6 record because Luck has always done good no matter what players he has played with the Colts. So Luck leads them to 10-6. Now the Jags will take a step back. Listen, their defense might be the best in football, but you can't overlook Blake Bortles in their quarterback situation. Blake Bortles is not a franchise QB. I've been saying that since last year. They got kind of lucky in a weak division last year with both Watson and Luck going down. I feel like they take a step back and miss the playoffs. And the Titans, not like they're a bad team, but they're just going to be the last team in this division. I mean, Derrick Henry, I think, is going to make a step up this season. Marcus Mariota, we'll see if he takes a step up or a step back. They've added some side pieces on the defensive side of the ball, like Malcolm Butler, but they're going to finish 6-10, I think. And now on to my final division of the AFC. We got the AFC West here. And I feel like that the Los Angeles Chargers will go 11-5. Now listen, they have Melvin Ingram and Joey Bosa on the outside. Might be the best edge rushers in all of football, along with the Texans, which I aforementioned. And with Phillip Rivers is a quality quarterback. I feel like nobody gives him enough credit. And with Melvin Gordon in the backfield and Keenan Allen at a wide receiver position, they will be fine. A solid football team, and they will win a bunch of games. Now, the Raiders, interesting situation here. We got John Gruden and Derek Carr. We'll see how that relationship works out. We'll see if they get Khalil Mack back, which Khalil Mack might be all around the best defensive player in all of football. I really think that. And the Oakland Raiders will finish 9-7. And I feel like the Broncos will finish at 7-9. I don't think Case Keenum's the real deal, because Case Keenum had a career year last year. I don't think that he leads the Broncos to the playoffs. And we got KC over here. Patrick Mahomes, I feel, this is going to be a learning year for him. Therefore, this will be a rebuilding year for KC. And now, we're on to my playoff picture for the AFC. I have the Steelers taking the top spot. I have the Patriots at the second spot. Steelers finish 12-4. Patriots finish right behind them, 11-5. Chargers finish at 11-5. Texans and Colts finish at 10-6. But Texans squeak out the division. I feel like they will have a better division record. And then we have the Raiders squeaking in at 9-7, probably getting bounced first round, but it is what it is. And now let's move on to the NFC predictions. Now let's go to the NFC East. Now you might look at these records and think, what are you thinking? The NFC East is the best division in football. And there's a case that it is the best division in football. But listen, this division will just pound on each other. They will eat each other alive. They will just hurt each other's records, and therefore we get mediocrity throughout this division, although these are quality football teams. I feel like that the Cowboys will end up taking this division at 9-7 because the Cowboys have Dak Prescott, who never turns the ball over, it seems like. He's a game manager, but also he could do a lot of great things on the football field. Ezekiel Elliott behind that Cowboys offensive line is unstoppable. And they have young defensive pieces coming back off of injury. This team, led by Sean Lee on the defensive end, as a captain, will win this division. And now we got the Eagles. Yes, I don't have the Eagles making the playoffs. You're thinking, wow, you're crazy. You're so stupid. But listen, Nick Foles will start off the year at QB because Carson Wentz will probably not be ready for week 1 quite yet. They're going to hold off on him. And when Carson Wentz comes back at, like, let's say week 3, week 4 maybe, it might be some rebuilding time. Because, listen, when the players go from one quarterback to the other, there will be transitioning pains. And I feel like they will drop 1 or 2 games that they shouldn't. And therefore, that's the difference between an 11-5 quality record and a 9-7. Now the Giants will improve a lot off of last year because let's be real, the Giants weren't really a 3-13 team last year. Everything just went wrong for them. Injuries, they just imploded. But we'll be honest, the Giants will go 8-8, solid record. Saquon Barkley will have a quality year as a number 2 overall draft pick. Odell will do his thing, and also the defensive will be okay. But they are not ready to take over the top spot in this division. And the Redskins, with Alex Smith, they will find a way to win some games because Alex Smith is a good player in this league. He could be great if he fits in with his new team, but they don't have many great skill positions around Alex Smith, so they finish at 6-10. And now let's move on to the NFC North. Now I have the Vikings finishing at 10-6. Now I feel like that they overpay for Kirk Cousins and they overpay for Stephon Diggs, allowing their team not to grow as a whole, allowing them to sign some other pieces. Now, I feel like their defense will win them games single-handedly. And we got to remember, Kirk Cousins is a 5,000-yard passer. And so they finish at 10-6. And also, Green Bay will rival them, and they will get to a 10-6 record also. With Aaron Rodgers at the helm for Green Bay, they are always a quality football team. But I feel like if you take Aaron Rodgers off of this team, they might finish with the worst record in all of the National Football League. Therefore, Aaron Rodgers, even if there is a little, getting used to, his new throwing shoulder and stuff like that coming off with his injury, they will be slumping, and I feel like they will get to 10-6 because Rodgers is Rodgers. And all the Lions, they have never had a 100-yard rusher in Matt Stafford's football career. That is an amazing stat right there that I looked up. And the Lions, they can't be one-dimensional in this division. They don't have that great of a defense. I mean, they have a couple players like Darius Slay on the defensive side, big play Slay, and they have a good wide receiving core, but they can't. Average won't do it in this division. So that's why the Lions will finish at 7-9. And the Chicago Bears will finish at 5-11. And their record might seem like, 5-11. But Mitch Trubisky, I feel like, will take a step in the right direction. Jordan Howard and that young core will. This is a 2-year plan for Chicago. They have no chance of doing anything this year. So it's a 2-year plan. Maybe next year they get into the 9-7 range and they keep building with these draft picks. They got to keep having good drafts because they've drafted poorly in the past, like Kevin White, the wide receiver out of West Virginia a few years ago. And now we have the NFC South. I feel like this division is the most packed in football. Not the NFC East. It's the NFC South. And I love the New Orleans Saints in this division. Now listen, you got Drew Brees, you got Alvin Kamara, you got Mark Ingram, you got solid receivers like Michael Thomas, you got a young budding secondary with P.J. Williams at quarterback, and they got Marshawn Lattimore, league leader in interceptions last year, 4 rookies. And I just feel like they're going to be a well-rounded team, tough to stop with that smart quarterback in Drew Brees, 12-4. And also, the Panthers and the Falcons will finish at 11-5. Now listen, I feel like but they're going to finish at 11-5 for a different reason. The Panthers' front seven is still a force to be reckoned with Luke Kuechly manning that defense, and their secondary is now starting to become more experienced with James Bradbury and Darryl Worley. I feel like that they will take a step in the right direction on the defensive side and become an elite defense. Now, North Turner is the new offensive coordinator in Carolina, and he will tailor this system around Cam Newton, and I feel like fix Cam Newton's throwing motion a little bit. He will still be an inaccurate quarterback like we always seen, but he doesn't need to throw 40 times a game. We could give it to Christian McCaffrey and run some RPOs with Cam and Christian, find a ways to get the ball to their playmakers like DJ Moore and stuff like that, and Devin Funchess. It will be a decent year for the Carolina Panthers. And the Falcons, with Matty Ice and Julio Jones, with that connection piece, they also drafted Calvin Ridley out of Alabama, one of the top receivers in this draft. And their defensive side of the ball is solid. Their front seven is a lunch bucket gang. They'll do their job and they'll hold off a bunch of offenses. And the Buccaneers are a dysfunctional mess this year. With Jameis Winston missing the first 3 games, they will start 0-3, almost guaranteed. And the Buccaneers will be the laughingstock of this division. And now on to my final division in the NFC. We will have the Los Angeles Rams taking it home. Now the Los Angeles Rams, I feel like, have something to prove. They come in, they've added a bunch of pieces. Ndamukong Suh, Brandon Cooks. They just locked up Todd Gurley for a long-term contract. Jared Goff is coming into his prime, I feel like. And if they sign Aaron Donald, their defense will be unstoppable with Aqib Talib and stuff. And Marcus Peters. They have signed a bunch. They've gone all in this year. And that's why they will have something to prove. And they will go 13-3 this year. And they will be the ones that will be leading the NFC. And the San Francisco 49ers, I feel like with Jimmy G and some young pieces, will finish off at 9-7. A fair record. They just missed the playoffs. Nothing to be sorry about. They have a future with Jimmy G. Now, much like a Aaron Rodgers situation, Russell Wilson will carry this team to an 8-8 record. I feel like if Russell Wilson perhaps gets them at 10-6 and leads them to the playoffs, he should win the MVP. Russell Wilson is the only quarterback in the NFL that could produce high numbers with no offensive line. And if the running back out of San Diego State, I think his name is Rashad Perryman, that they drafted in the first round, works out, this team could be a decent squad. But with the Legion of Boom just vanishing before our very eyes, they will finish at 500 this year. And also, the Cardinals, although this is a rebuilding year, like the Bears, with Rosen at the helm. Rosen's a very smart quarterback. He'll win them a couple games. They'll pull them out. And also, we got to remember that they have a okay defense. But old legs, they're the oldest team in the NFL. That will not do well down the stretch. They will fall to 5-11. And now onto my NFC playoff picture. Like I said, I have the Rams taking this division, Saints at the 2 seed with a bye at 12-4, and the Vikings will take the North at 10-6. Cowboys will finish at 9-7 and get the 4 seed. The Falcons will get the 5 seed, and the Panthers will get the 6 seed. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to Sporting Top 10.